Hello, and welcome to the Be Purely Balanced podcast. I'm Dr. Crystal Couture, and today I'm here with Donna Broadwell. We are talking about hypnosis and specifically relationships. Donna is a living, breathing example to this world that anyone can have loving, healthy, beautiful relationships in their life, regardless of their beginnings, their programming, and their life experiences. Her message is clear. Your past does not define you. An experienced hypnotherapist and energy worker, Donna's special superpower is her ability to reach deep into the subconscious mind to recruit its cooperation in altering self-depleting thoughts, patterns, and habits. Donna's clients come away armed with the ability to access their own inner wisdom so they too can become their most powerful self in every area of their lives. Welcome, Donna.
Hi, Crystal. Thank you so much for having me on today.
It's such a pleasure to have you on the show and to bring this essence of relationships into the work that we're sharing on the podcast. So I would love to start off today with having you talk about your own healing journey, how you got from your corporate life to this healing world.
Well, and like you said in the bio, I do have to say that I would be the least likely person on the planet to have the wonderful relationship that I have now. I was raised in a, excuse me, in a culturally stoic environment with a Dutch grandmother and a German grandfather, and they were farmers. And never had a father around, and a mother I never bonded with. So these were my models in the rest of my relationship life. Having left home, and I had to go through two very extremely unsuccessful abusive marriages before I really learned what I needed to learn to finally have a better life. And to make a long story short, because my healing journey has been over decades, every area in my life changed after I decided I was worthy of having a happy, loving, prosperous life. And I began to love myself and make choices that honored me. And I would be confronted continually that with things that would test my loyalty to myself and to my happiness, but I kept choosing me.
So Donna, what was the this flip switch from feeling like you weren't worthy, being in these relationships that really mimicked your childhood and allowed you to feel like you weren't worthy, allowed you to take in that abuse? What was the moment when things switched for you?
I guess you could call it a very happy midlife crisis, because it was that moment in life where you understand that you're either going to make a change, or you're going to see yourself in 20 years or at the end making choices that you end up being very unhappy with. Yeah. And I looked at all of that, and I made a decision that I wasn't going to, I had a better life to live. And I just made that decision.
Yes. Yes. I had a better life to live.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you've kind of gone through the process of feeling worthy, starting to feel worthy, starting to feel those challenges, because life always does that. Once we think we've got the plan, right? It challenges us to then look at it again and see if we can stand in that worthiness. So you're standing in your worthiness, standing in your worthiness, standing in your worthiness. And then what happened?
Well, let's just say the biggest benefit after the process of learning how to do that, the biggest benefit I received was a wonderful, healthy relationship with a beautiful, strong, loving man who dare I say, adores me, and he does. He's so precious, and he's so supportive, and he's so loving. And it's the closest thing I've experienced to heaven on earth. And I
Mhm.
had to retrace my steps and think, how did I get here?
Yeah.
How did I how did I get to this place where I have such a good loving relationship and a good exchange and the ability to communicate? How did I get here after that rocky start? And the root of it and the key of it was that decision and that choice to choose me. I was quite the doormat. And once I picked myself up off of the floor, and made that decision, everybody reacted to me in a different way. My entire life acted to me in a different way.
Yeah. So of course you are your own best healer, right? We believe that. We have that capacity within ourselves. You even write that in your bio. But were there people there supporting you through this journey? Were there healers? Was there a modality that you turned to that worked for you?
In truth, I've actually tried everything that I can think of. I'm willing to give anything a try. I have I've done craniosacral therapy, which was incredibly instrumental in helping me get into alignment. Reiki. I had been using Reiki, or not necessarily Reiki in my massage career, but I was employing energy on every one of my clients, and healing energy was my intention, and love energy was my intention on my clients. And then I realized there's this thing called Reiki, and I went ahead and learned that, and became a Reiki master and teacher. So everything, every bit of help, every bit of learning that I can get my hands on, that I have access to, I'll do it,
Yeah.
because that's the journey I've chosen, and I want every leg up that I can get. So yeah, there's such a wide range of things I've tried and done and loved and that have helped.
Beautiful. So how did you get into hypnosis?
Well, I had a little break from my massage career. It was after I moved from Texas out to California. About a year in, I had a really bad car accident, and um, it actually literally mutilated my wrist, which um, kind of put me on a commission for about a year. I've had 3 surgeries on that arm in 1 year,
Wow.
and I had plenty of time to think about, what if I could never massage again? What would I do?
Mm.
And I've always known there was just a little more that I needed to push for and needed to go for. And I was very resistant to that, because I love massage and I love being good at what I did. And almost the first time in my life, I felt like I was an expert. So it was
Oh,
hard to let go of.
yeah.
And then had the wonderful opportunity. There's a school that's within 45 minutes of, of where I live, and I had the time. So I just went ahead and went to hypnosis school, and it was incredibly life changing.
Hmm. So when you started school, you went in knowing that there was something in the modality that you'd be able to share with your clients. Obviously, having a wrist that isn't 100% just doesn't work so well for body work. So you went in thinking, okay, this is a modality. And you came out thinking this is a modality, but there was more.
There was way more. Um, the the power behind hypnosis, I literally went in with the same impression that most people have after seeing hypnosis on TV.
Mm.
But I also had learned the power of the mind, and I knew hypnosis was key to helping somebody get in alignment with what they want to do. And
Okay.
so this gave me the tool that I needed to help others and myself. I use hypnosis on myself all the time. Um, this was the tool that I knew would fit in a toolbox in working with people on a coaching basis. And it works incredibly well. When I need help, I go to one of my instructors at hypnotherapy school, and I come away with what I need.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Wow. So people have an impression of what is hypnosis, and I'm curious what hypnosis really is. What does it mean to you? How do you define hypnosis?
Hmm. How do I define hypnosis? Let me give you an example. Let me try this. We have patterns that were learned that stay with us into adulthood and can follow us to our grave if we don't address the patterns that no longer serve us as adults and deal with them. If we're able to work with the subconscious mind instead of fighting against it, we can affect the changes that our conscious mind desires to make. Let me use an example.
Mm.
So we've developed some consequences in our life because of our inability to manage money. And say we have credit card debt, out of control spending and borrowing, and our conscious mind says you need to quit using the credit cards, pay off the debt, stop borrowing, and be more responsible with your money. And this thought or this plan is then run by the subconscious mind. And let's say the subconscious mind has learned that as a child, the only expression of love you ever received was in, say, the form of things
Mm.
such as new clothes, money, toys, and such. And even as an adult, your subconscious believes that spending money and getting new clothes and having more things represents that feeling of love you received as a child from receiving things.
Mm.
And if you're still starving for love, your subconscious mind is going to keep you solidly in that pattern that says things equal love and totally put the stomp on your plans to do better with money. And then we get stressed and we go to the mall and sit down and order from Amazon.
Mhm.
But with hypnosis, I can get through that barrier of the filter between the conscious and the subconscious mind.
Mm.
And we can let the subconscious know that that pattern is, and thank you for that pattern, but it no longer serves me here in my adult life. And we recruit the help of the subconscious mind in changing these patterns. Instead of fighting against it, we recruit the help of and we get the agreement of. And I put suggestions that we've pre agreed upon into the subconscious mind that causes it to work with us instead of work against us. So the
Mm.
process of hypnosis allows me to do that. That was a long way around your question, but
That's great. No, I think that's really valid and really valuable for people to hear. The idea of the subconscious mind and the conscious mind working together, working in harmony for the now, right? That's really kind of what you're saying.
Mhm.
So for listeners that might not have a science background, briefly, what is the conscious mind and what is the subconscious mind?
The subconscious mind is what's formed. Well, the theory is from ages 0 to 9 years old, and all of the things that we've been told from our parents, from siblings, from teachers to pastors, all of that subconscious patterning is done at that early age.
Yeah.
And the subconscious is there to keep us alive, to keep us safe. And when we try to stray from what those patterns are, and this would be something we would do in our conscious mind, when we stray from those patterns, the subconscious does everything it can to keep us in those patterns, to keep us safe and to keep us alive. And,
Mm.
and the subconscious mind is actually 80 to 90% of our mind,
Wow.
which leaves a very small percent for for conscious thinking. So there's the logic there. We process all of our senses. We process everything through the conscious mind. So if the two aren't in agreement, nothing can happen that we want to accomplish in the conscious.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense. It
Okay.
makes
I wanted to make sure I was explaining
Yeah,
it well.
I think that's a beautiful way for people to grasp on, and a different explanation than I think we've ever had on the show. So I really appreciate that.
Mm.
Um, so there's so much talk about consciousness right now, right? There's a bit of a wave of consciousness, mindfulness coming to fruition. But there's only so much that we can really do within that state of consciousness, within that conscious mind state, because the patterns of the subconscious, the memories of the subconscious can act as limiting factors. Is that true?
That's absolutely true. Absolutely true, Crystal.
Right. So, do you find that, clients who might be practicing different acts of mindfulness, so meditation, different things of that nature, journaling, spending time in nature, do you find that it's easier for them to access the subconscious mind when they're working with someone like you or even on their own?
It's a learned behavior.
Uh,
I believe in it. It has been in my journey. I have had to really train my mind in every area. I've had to train my mind in gratitude. I've had to train my mind to be quiet. And hypnosis is sometimes people's first version or their first exposure to a quiet mind,
mm,
because it can reach in there. It puts you in a state of um, actually it's calmness and it's quietness
mm.
in that hypnotic state, where some people think that you kind of disappear and your mind goes away, but in truth it's highly focused and can feel and see. You can feel and see more sharply. I guess that'd be a good description.
Yeah, I love that you're using this word, to describe the hypnotic state as being highly focused and, acute in nature. I think
Mhm.
that's a really important facet for people to connect into. And of course, I'm instantly thinking, right, your story, you shared your personal journey with relationships. And now, of course, here you are doing hypnosis with a focus on relationships. It's uncanny in ways, but I can immediately see how relationship patterns from really the moment that we're born start to form. And we immediately start formulating opinions of how to stay safe and opinions of how to really get what we want, right? Or we form other opinions like, that may be more negative in nature. So it sounds like the work is really important, and it sounds like it's a bit untapped as a modality for the masses, and it seems like everyone should be doing hypnosis.
I agree. When I say the subconscious is 80 to 90% of who we are, guess who's driving the bus? I mean, it's such a huge part of who we are. And
Mm,
it would seem that the key would be to go to that subconscious and change the patterns. Because and is it an easy thing to do? I always entertain the idea that it can be easy. Yes, this
mm,
can be easy, but there is work involved, and that's what scares people away. There is work involved, and you do have to be conscious about your thoughts because you're changing your thought patterns. So you
mm.
have to be very aware of your thoughts and be very purposeful in changing your mind about your previous thinking. So it's an on purpose process.
An on purpose process. I love that. Um, so we've got, this idea of being purposeful in changing your mind, being conscious with your thoughts, being aware of your thoughts, being aware of what's happening with your patterns. So how do we translate that first? Of course, as you mentioned in your own experience, how do we translate that first to our own experience with ourselves, our belief about ourselves? Because everyone's looking for the relationship, right?
Absolutely.
The relationship isn't the first place to look necessarily.
It is not. Matter of fact, that's the part that falls into place in an easy way. When you do the work of of yourself and understanding that you are worthy for love, no matter what you've been taught, no matter what those patterns are, you have to understand and accept and believe that in our perfect imperfectness, that we are lovable, that we are worthy of a good life, of prosperity, of abundance in every area of our lives, and that we are worthy of love. Whether our bodies are perfect, whether we have and we do all have flaws, but we're perfect, and we are able to choose ourselves. And this is what causes the massive change in who you attract into your life. Before I had this epiphany, I guess you would call it, every area of my life was being overrun by people that were pushing me around and being mean and hateful, even in the workforce. I couldn't understand. I'm the easiest going, nicest person I know, but everybody's treating me like a doormat.
Yeah.
Everybody liked that. So when I changed my mind, those people fell away and they were replaced with people that felt like I felt about myself.
Mm,
So that switch caused everything else around me to revolve differently.
right. And it started inside. It had to start inside. There's no other way.
No, there is no other way. You're not going to walk around with a horrible opinion of yourself and not be able to look at yourself and be alone with yourself and attract a wonderful, loving, reciprocal relationship. It isn't going to happen.
Right. Mm,
The two are not compatible.
right. So the idea of that, point of attraction really comes into play here, and really comes into the work and the power of the subconscious mind.
That's correct.
Yeah, and I think you so eloquently described how important the subconscious mind is, and how important being aware of our patterns is. That I think this would be a perfect time for us to kind of dive into the guided imagery that you wanted to share.
Yeah, I wanted to share a grounding exercise that I do and have done for many, many years. What I find when I work with people is they come in and you're basically scattered. It's like pieces of you are floating around and you're not really living and being in your body and not feeling grounded. A client says they go into the city and they feel like they've exploded into a million pieces and are floating. And I think a lot of people know what that feels like when things get too crazy. You almost leave your body. And this is um, something that I've always done before I have gone in to work with somebody with body work or energetic work, or even now hypnosis, hypnotherapy work. I have to ground myself because I have to keep myself um, in a space to help other people.
Mm,
So what I'm going to share is basically a grounding exercise that you can do when you're feeling so crazy and out of your body. And this brings you to a point where you're solid. You're solid. You
wonderful.
can do your work from this point.
Yeah. Okay. When you're ready.
All right. If you take 3 deep breaths and relaxing, holding space for yourself, for others, breathing deeply into your body, and imagining that every breath you take, you are breathing in light. breathing in light from the sun, from the moon, from the stars, from the very air you breathe. You breathe in light from the earth and all around you, breathing in light. As you breathe in that light, all darkness has to go. And as you get fuller and fuller of that light, it's almost as if you can imagine that there are roots growing from your feet, being drawn by Mother Earth. And those roots go past the floor, past the cement, past the dirt, past the shale, deeper and deeper and deeper into Mother Earth, and feeling solid and grounded and welcome in Mother Earth, who delights in you being there and reaching for her. As your roots go deeper and deeper and deeper, you come across a beautiful stream. And the stream has sparkling diamond white, crystalline gorgeousness in it. And you dip your roots into this water, and you're drawing nourishment and love and care from Mother Earth. And she is so happy to fill you, fill your roots, fill you up into your body with this nurturing, loving kindness. And you can feel how much she loves you. You can feel how much you belong on this earth. And Mother Earth has you. She has got you. And she is loving you. And you bring this up into your body, filling your body with light and love and nourishment. And you get so full that it almost shoots out of the top of your head. That's how it feels. It shoots out of the top of your head and off of the tips of your fingers. And as that reaches up from the top of your head into the heavens, you pull in the energy of love and light from your higher source, from your higher power. And you are full and you are filled. And as you breathe in now, if there's any scattered parts of you floating around you, not willing to be in the body because it's too stressful, bring them in. Let those pieces know that it's safe here, that you can rest here, that I've got you. It is safe here in this body, in this mind, in this place. You are safe in this time and space. Bringing all those pieces and parts back in where they belong. Let them settle. Let them be part of that groundedness. Let them be filled with that love. Let them be filled with that white light. And now you're ready. Now you're ready to face the world. And so it is.
Wow. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. Certainly I feel the energy of grounding, but also I've really connected to the imagery of the roots and almost like a tree, thinking of our body sort of as a tree, right? So appropriate for spring coming, to sort of dive into that energy of growth and that bursting forward, being ready for the world, and doing that by first acknowledging the essence within. Yeah. Yeah, very beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what would you say would be for someone who's thinking about hypnosis, they've thought, well, maybe this is a great modality for me, but I'm a little worried about going into my past, or I'm a little worried about what might come up, right?
Mhm.
What would you say would be a couple of tips for someone to know if they're ready for this modality? Mm.
Um, you have to be all in. And yes, the fear can be there, but the truth about hypnosis is you are not under mind control. You are completely in control, probably more so than ever. And with hypnosis, we agree on the messages that we're going to give the subconscious beforehand. And I do a lot of digging. Yes, there is fear into going in the past. And no, you do not have to relive all of those torturous, traumatic moments. I don't think that is always the case for healing, because I believe spirit can use your willingness to heal.
Right.
So, yes, it's a fear. Of course, we don't want to go back and relive that. But from a place of standing back and looking at it, we can identify what's going on and heal it.
Mm.
And this is something I realized after I had a really good hypnosis session with one of my classmates. Um, was the next day, I felt such a release at the end of the hypnosis. And the next day, the problem presented itself again. And the difference was, after hypnosis, I had a choice. I could see what it felt like and what it looked like to take the path of releasing what it was that I was struggling with. Or I could have gone back to it. I
Mm.
could have picked that problem back up again, and the hypnosis would have been for nothing.
Right.
But I had the option after that hypnosis, because I'd seen what it looked like, to choose something different.
Yeah.
So again, it was me making the decision, but I had a tool. I had the power to choose something different where I didn't feel like I had before.
Mm.
I hope that answered your original question.
Yeah, I believe it did, and I do think it's a bit of a another topic, the idea of illumination that comes from the session, and it wasn't necessarily so clear as, hey, I'm on this new path and everything's great. It was just the idea that you could see choice, and you
Yeah.
could be, within yourself enough to have that perspective. And
Mhm.
I do think that's really important. At this time in the world, we're going very busy, 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 busy. Moving forward, moving fast, moving way too fast sometimes. That
Mhm.
having enough conscious and subconscious connection, that everything is illuminated as far as choice, feels
Mhm.
really important, and feels like it's very valid to where people are. So thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's very powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. What would you say is the benefit of hypnosis for the collective consciousness?
Mm.
There's more and more talk about oneness. There's more and more talk about openness to the experience, that we're really all in it together.
Mhm.
And with that said, the collective conscious is important. So I'd just love to hear your thoughts on that.
That's absolutely true, and I do keep that in mind in my work. So I had to really take a good long look at this and understand what the crux of my work is, and that is bringing more love into the world, bringing
Yes.
the energy of love into the world.
Mm.
And if I use the tool of hypnosis to change somebody's mind about themselves, and to understand that they are worthy, that they are lovable, that they are capable of loving. And that increases the love level on this planet. And if they should choose to find a partner and live in love with more love, that's just double the love. That's more love introduced into this planet. And I honestly, I can't think of anything that would be more satisfying than to watch people learn to love and choose and accept themselves and turn around and find a loving partner and relationship.
Yeah.
I think that'll help the collective consciousness to just have more love.
I love it. I really love that, your love has sort of shined through this conversation from beginning to end. And it's just a testament, of course, to the essence of what's inside of you, and the work that you've done, it seems, is quite clear, has allowed you to step into that beam of light, that stream of subconscious and conscious, and it's absolutely beautiful. So thank you for sharing yourself in such a way.
Thank you for allowing me to, Crystal.
Yeah. So Donna, if our listeners want to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, my website is donnabroadwell.com. Easy, just my name and .com. And there's a lot of information in there about what I do. I do hypnotherapy, of course, like we talked about, Reiki, past life regression, and I do relationship coaching and a lot of guided imagery, like what I did with the grounding exercise. I have a local class called For the Love of Me. It's a 4-week program that teaches women how to gives them steps to learn how they can learn to love themselves. And it's been an amazing class so far. And I intend to take that online so more people can be involved in that. So, and that's also on the website, the information for that.
Wonderful. Donna, is there anything else you'd like to share before we close today?
Well, I can give you a tip. I would say it's kind of a superpower that I use. And it's gratitude. Gratitude has gotten me out of bed when that was the last thing I wanted to do because of depression or situational things that just make me want to pull my head underneath the covers and stay there and never get up. And it's pulled me out of a lot of really deep, hard circumstances, and that's gratitude. And no matter where we are and what we're doing, we can find something to be grateful for. No matter where we are, even if it's the air we breathe or the pillow that we have our head on or the color blue or whatever it is that we can find to be thankful for, that will begin to raise your vibration and bring you to a place where you can function. And then when you can function, you can make choices. So gratitude, I would say, would be the tool that I use the most to get myself where I want to be and need to be.
That's beautiful. And I think it's really valid to tune into what we're grateful for on a regular basis, because we're here, right? We're in this physical body. We're experiencing this tangible world where we have access to all of our senses. So you're right. There's, even if it's just the color blue, something that we feel, the feel of the pillow, as you said, that's enough, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And that's a start.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you so much, Donna. It has been a great pleasure to have you on the show today.
Thank you, Crystal.
You're welcome.
It's been wonderful to be here. Thank you.